This is Chris with Dales. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris with Dales. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. And I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE Friday Night SmackDown March 3rd, 2023 reviews. So here we go, discussing about tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Now we kick off the show with the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, and he is with one half of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sakoa, and Paul Heyman. Now, Jey Uso's not with them or anything. So, yeah, the Bloodline makes their way down to the ring, and Roman grabs the mic, and he tells Washington, D.C. to acknowledge him. And, the fans are going crazy and everything, but then all of a sudden he gets interrupted by Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes makes his way down to the ring, and he gets face-to-face with Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes starts talking about, do you actually, need your people with you or anything? And Roman looks at everybody and goes, wise man, I need you to get out the ring, and Jimmy and Solo follow him along. So, yeah, that's why Roman Reigns tell him, and the rest of the Bloodline, gets out the ring, and they go backstage. So, yeah, it's just Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes that's alone in the ring. Roman was talking about, he goes hey, so what do you want to talk about? And Cody says, I want to talk about you. So that's what he says, and Roman was like, okay, we'll go ahead and talk some serious business or whatever. And he grabs the titles and he lays them down on the ground and stuff, and he goes let's go ahead and get to talking then. And they started talking and everything. Cody Rhodes was talking about how everybody thought that he wasn't going to come back and try main event WrestleMania and all that because, with years of being Stardust and then going from Stardust to leaving WWE to go on the independent scene, drawing 10,000 people at a indie show with his friends and all that, referencing All In and all that stuff right there. That's what Cody Rhodes was talking about, and it was pretty good stuff. And he was talking about how he's going to main event WrestleMania up against Roman Reigns and all that for the titles. So yeah, that's what he was talking about. And then we see Roman, he starts talking about Dusty Rhodes, and he was talking about he goes let me tell you some things that your father said to me. He said that Dusty was the one that put the confidence in him, talking about how he was going to be the one in main event WrestleMania, win the top titles and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what Roman was talking about, and he was doing it in a Dusty voice and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what he was talking about. And then Roman looks at Cody, he goes let me tell you what Dusty said about you. And there was a little pause right there for a minute, and then Roman says nothing. And you could tell it got underneath Cody's skin right there, and he goes okay. Yeah, alright. Cody starts talking, and he was talking about, Roman and, WrestleMania and all that. And he goes let the, make the best man win, sir. And they both shook hands. And Roman walks out, and that was it. So, yeah, that's what happened. Pretty good segment. I really like it. Good way to, start off the feud right there between Roman and Cody. Nothing happening or anything like that. Just really good way, to go to WrestleMania, in my opinion. So, yeah, like I said, really great start for SmackDown right there. Really liked it. But, yeah, later on tonight, there's a lot of things going on. We got Solo Sakoa versus Sami Zayn 1-on-1. Not only that, they got a fatal 5-way match. Winner of that match will be qualifying for the Intercontinental Championship, apparently. And not only that, we'll see Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan 1-on-1 up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Friday Night SmackDown. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown, it was a 1-on-1 match. It was the first match of the night. It was the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match winner, Rhea Ripley, with Dominic Mysterio at ringside versus Liv Morgan 1-on-1 in a 1-on-1 match. So yeah, the two women that was the first and the last two women in the Royal Rumble match facing off against each other 1-on-1. It was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. Liv Morgan was taking control of this match right off the gate because she had a drop kick on Rhea Ripley and started beating her down and stuff. doing a lot of stuff to make sure Ripley stays down, but then Ripley starts coming back a little bit and stuff during this match. But then we start going to the ending of this match where we see Liv Morgan grabbing Rhea Ripley's arm. She runs a springboard off that second rope with a code breaker onto Rhea Ripley, and then she climbs up on the second turnbuckle, jumps off with another code breaker onto Rhea Ripley, goes for the pin. 1, 2, Rhea Ripley barely kicking out at 2. Liv Morgan was doing pretty good, beating her down and everything, but then Liv decides to climb up the top turnbuckle. She jumps off, but when she jumps off, Rhea Ripley reverses whatever Liv Morgan was going for into a powerbomb onto her, picks her right back up, hits the Riptide onto her, but instead of going for the pin, she goes for a submission move on this one and locks on the, I think they call it the inverted cloverleaf, pretty much, onto Liv Morgan. Is the old submission move that she was doing before. She didn't use it for a while, and she puts her knee onto Liv Morgan's neck, making her tap out. So yeah, Rhea Ripley defeated Liv Morgan tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. That's what happened. It was a pretty good start for a match for tonight on SmackDown. For that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good, entertaining match. So yeah, that's what I'll give it. But yeah, later on tonight, we still got a fatal 5-way match for the number 1 contenders for the Intercontinental Championship. And not only that, in the main event, they got Sami Zayn versus Solo Sakoa 1-on-1. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Friday Night SmackDown. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, there was a one-on-one match between Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar, but before I talk about that match, there was a segment that led up to that match and another segment before that with the Bloodline. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about those first. So with the Bloodline, we see Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman backstage sitting down. Roman Reigns was asking Jimmy about Jay, and Jimmy was telling Roman that he did talk to Jay this morning. And Jay's getting better and better, but he still needs some time to think, all that stuff. And Roman was like, time to think. And then Roman says that he's starting to lose his patience. And Jimmy was like, look, is Jay, he gets to have time to think and all that stuff. And he goes, and Roman tells him, he goes like, no, I'm not losing my patience with Jay. I'm losing my patience with you. And Jimmy looks at him and he goes like, okay, I'll go talk to Jay. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment though. The Bloodline, showing some cracks and it looks like they're going to break down. But yeah, then we get to the next segment where we see Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley backstage, and Santos was talking about how he wants a match tonight against Dominic Mysterio because of the disrespect that he's been showing Ray about, since Ray won't hit him, he said he will tonight, and Dominic accepts. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then we get to the match. Dominic Mysterio versus Santos Escobar 1-on-1. Rhea Ripley was at ringside for this match, and it was an okay match between Dominic and Santos, going back and forth and everything. At one point, they ran into each other, knocking each other down. Dominic throws on some brass knuckles onto his hands. The referee is, distracted because of Dominic and stuff, dealing with that. And while the referee was distracted, Rhea Ripley drags Santos Escobar out the ring, hits the Riptide onto Santos outside of the ring, throws him back in there. Dominic climbs up the top turnbuckle and jumps off with the frog splash onto Santos and pins him for the 3 count. So yeah, Dominic Mysterio defeated Santos Escobar tonight in a 1-on-1 match. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it for what happened during the match and what happened after the match. So after the match ended, Santos Escobar did come out with Rey Mysterio's mask that Rey Mysterio gave him. Dominic Mysterio then grabs that mask at the end of the match and starts ripping the mask apart and everything. Santos is getting very mad about it. And then, all of a sudden, when Dominic was doing that, all of a sudden Rey Mysterio decides to come out and he tells Dominic to give him the mask. And Dominic wouldn't do it, so what he does is he throws it down on the ground. He starts walking away. Rey bends down to grab the mask and everything. And while he's doing that, all of a sudden he gets hit with a forearm by Dominic. And Dominic walks away while Rey's still sitting down on the ground. So yeah, that's what happened there in that segment. Pretty good stuff. But then after that, we see pretty much something from social media with Sami Zayn talking through social media from earlier today. He's talking about how he's going to make sure that the Bloodline goes down So yeah, that's what he was talking about. But yeah, pretty good stuff. Later on tonight, we'll see Sami Zayn versus Solo Sakoa 1-on-1 later on tonight on SmackDown. But up next, we're going to be seeing Drew McIntyre on SmackDown up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until the next thing that happens on Friday Night SmackDown. See you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Friday Night SmackDown. So we get to the next segment of the night where we see Drew McIntyre come out and he gets in the ring. And pretty much he was talking about how he don't got a match for WrestleMania. WrestleMania is in 4 weeks. So he came out there to challenge the Intercontinental Champion Gunther to a match for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So yeah, that's what Drew McIntyre came out there to say. And then all of a sudden he gets interrupted by Sheamus. Sheamus comes out and he's all pissed off. He says that, that Drew McIntyre knew that he was going to be the one to go challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, and that that Drew McIntyre is a backstabber and all that. He thought of him as a brother, but apparently not. And Drew McIntyre was like, "Well, if we're being all serious, and you already had 2 shots for the Intercontinental Championship, and you lost both times." So yeah, that's what he was saying. They was getting face to face and everything up until LA Knight comes out. LA Knight was talking about it's not going to be a WrestleMania without LA Knight, and he wants to go to WrestleMania and face Gunther and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what LA Knight was talking about. But then all of a sudden we see Kofi Kingston come out, and Kofi Kingston starts talking. He goes like, "Well, LA Knight, last time I checked, you didn't even win a match. You couldn't even win a match last time I seen on SmackDown. So, you shouldn't be going to WrestleMania and all that stuff." And then all of a sudden, Karrion Kross with Scarlett comes out, and Karrion Kross walks around the ring up until everybody starts brawling. LA Knight attacks Kofi Kingston. LA Knight and Xavier Woods is brawling. LA Knight pushes Xavier Woods into Drew McIntyre. Sheamus gets mad, pushes Xavier Woods, and then LA Knight tosses Woods out the ring, and then Sheamus clotheslines LA Knight over the top rope, and then Drew McIntyre looked like he was going to attack Sheamus, but Sheamus turns around, they stare at each other face to face. Sheamus moves out of the way, and then that's when Drew McIntyre jumps over the top rope with a front flip onto everybody outside the ring, and then Karrion Kross gets in the ring and starts brawling with Sheamus, and yeah, that's what happened there, and Kross was just pretty much standing tall. So yeah, that's what happened there, and yep, it looks like next week that the Fatal 5-Way match will be happening next week instead. But yeah, I pretty much went over it. But yep, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment though. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Friday Night SmackDown. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown, we get to a one-on-one match. It was Shayna Baszler with Ronda Rousey at ringside versus Tegan Nox with Natalya at ringside. So yeah, Shayna Baszler versus Tegan Nox one-on-one on tonight's episode of SmackDown. And the reason why this match came all about is because apparently earlier today there was a brawl that happened backstage. Natalya was hurt, Ronda Rousey's arm was hurt, and Tegan Nox and Shayna Baszler was going at it, and a bunch of referees had to break them apart, and that's how the match got made. So yeah, Ronda Rousey's wearing a sling with her arm out there at ringside and all that stuff, and it was an okay match. It was going back and forth. Tegan Nox rolls up Shayna Baszler for an inside cradle, but got a 2 count, and then Shayna Baszler quickly gets back up, knees her right in the face when she was on her knees, and then locks on the arm bar onto Tegan Nox, making her tap out. So yeah, Shayna Baszler defeated Tegan Nox tonight on SmackDown. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 1.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was an okay match, but yeah, that's why I'll give that match. But then after that match ended, we see the Intercontinental Champion Gunther with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanna Vinci Imperium getting interviewed backstage by Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton's asking Gunther about what was going on a while ago with Drew McIntyre and all of them in the ring, and Gunther was talking about how that there is a lack of leadership and all that stuff, and that he wants to face whoever at WrestleMania. He don't care, and that's what he was talking about. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then they actually acknowledge that that he's coming up to 300 days as Intercontinental Champion. Like, not even gonna lie, these title reigns lately has been long. We got like Roman that's 915 days, I believe. Gunther's almost at 300, and Bianca's almost at a whole year when WrestleMania comes around. So yeah, these title reigns in WWE has been long, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's what happened there. But up next, we're going to be seeing Bobby Lashley up next because he was making his way down. So yeah, Bobby Lashley will be in the ring up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown, we see Bobby Lashley out there in the ring, and he starts talking about Bray Wyatt, talking about how Bray Wyatt's trying to play these mind games with him and everything. But it ain't going to work like that. He said he already tried to call him out on Raw, but he didn't came out, so he just came to his show to call him out. So he's calling out Bray Wyatt. And then all of a sudden, Uncle Howdy's theme song starts playing, and then Uncle Howdy comes up from behind Bobby Lashley, attacking him, beating him down, stuff, runs to the ropes, and then he gets hit with a spine buster by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley was setting up for the spear onto Uncle Howdy up until the lights go out. It comes back on, Uncle Howdy's disappeared. So yeah, that's what happened there, and they are playing mind games with Bobby Lashley. But yep, that's what happened there. It was a okay segment right there. So yeah, but then after that, we see Roman Reigns backstage. Paul Heyman's with him, and Jimmy Uso comes walking back into the locker room. Roman Reigns asks about Jay. Jimmy says that he said that he needs more time and stuff. And then Roman was like, "Oh, so he needs more time?" And he goes like, "Actually, he just said leave him the hell alone." So yeah, that's what Jimmy told Roman. And then Roman was like, "How about this? Just it's a Sami problem and all that. Sammy's been causing all this. I want you to go work on this. So Jimmy, go out there with Solo for the match." And Jimmy was like, "Okay." And he walks away. And then Paul Heyman was like, that was wonderful, my tribal chief." And Roman was like, "No, it wasn't." He goes like, "Jay only got 1 week." And I'm not blaming it on Sami. If Jay don't appear, I don't blame it on Sami. It's all Jimmy's fault. So yeah, that's what Roman Reigns said. But yep, that's what happened there. And then up next, it'll be the main event. Solo Sakoa versus Sami Zayn, 1-on-1 up next on SmackDown. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown, it was a 1-on-1 match. It was the main event. It was Sami Zayn versus Solo Sakoa 1-on-1 with the one half of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Uso, at ringside. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman was watching this match from backstage. Before I talk about this match, they got a few matches planned for next week. Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus the Viking Raiders in the tag team match. And not only that, they got Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Karrion Kross versus LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston in a fatal 5-way match where that match qualifies for the Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening next week. But yeah, we get to the main event. It was a pretty good match. Before the match even started, Solo makes his way down to the ring. Sami makes his way down to the ring, but he starts attacking Solo before the bell even rung, beating him down, stuff. Solo got knocked out of the ring, and then Jimmy Uso tries to fight as well, but he gets knocked out of the ring as well. Sami runs to the ropes and jumps over the top rope with a front flip onto both of them, taking them out. And then Solo and Sami finally get the match underway. It was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. At one point, Sami hits the blue thunder bomb onto Solo, pins him 1-2. Solo barely kicking out at 2. Sami then goes up and sets up for the Helluva Kick onto Solo, but then Jimmy Uso grabs Solo, pulling him out the way, and Sami misses a Helluva Kick, pretty much hitting the turnbuckles and stuff. And then that's when Solo grabs Sami, hitting the Samoan Spike onto him, pinning him for the 1-2-3. So yeah, Solo Sikoa defeated Sami Zayn tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. That's what happened. But then after the match ended, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa starts attacking Sami Zayn, beating him down and stuff. Solo goes and grabs a steel chair, puts it around Sami's head, about to hit the hip attack onto Sami, but then Jimmy stops him. He goes like, "No, let me do it." And since they wasted too much time on who was going to do it, all of a sudden Sami Zayn quickly gets up, grabbing the steel chair and throwing it at Solo's head. And then Jimmy was trying to attack Sami, but Sami moves, and Jimmy runs into the turnbuckles, and then he gets hit with the Helluva Kick. And then Sami grabs the steel chair, about to hit Jimmy with the steel chair, up until Solo gets back up, and he throws it right back at Solo, but Solo this time knocks it away. And then he grabs the steel chair, trying to hit Sami, but he quickly gets out the ring and runs to the crowd. So yeah, that's what happened there for the match. What happened after the match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was pretty good. That was match of the night for me right there. That's what happened. But Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan had a pretty good match as well. But best segment was easily Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. That segment was really good. But yep, that's what happened there. And Roman was looking disappointed after the match and stuff. So yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, pretty good stuff for tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. I'll give it 7 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was an okay episode of SmackDown. So yeah, that's what I'll give tonight's episode. But yeah, that has been my WWE Friday Night SmackDown reviews. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. That'll be down there in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys later for this Monday's Monday Night Raw reviews and this Sunday's AEW Revolution 2023 reviews. See you guys later. Until then.